At this pivotal time in humanity's evolution, we are beginning to remember our organic technology. A technology, when used correctly, can create an experience that the majority of the people the world over want to live. It is time to use this technology consciously for our own benefit and healing, and no longer unconsciously for our own demise. We are divine creators, creating both our own personal experience and our collective experience moment to moment. We invite you to join us as we reawaken this technology to experiment and experience our power to create and manifest. Become part of the 3%.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Lisa Harrison here for the Collective Imagination Show for this week. Wow, okay, it's going to be a big one. I just say that and hope that it is actually. So we have Chris in Melbourne with us again, as usual.
Hi, everybody. I'm just thumbing through my instruction manual here. That's the one on me.
Well, that'll take you about 3 seconds. Okay.
Thanks for it. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Yeah, good morning.
Feisty this morning.
Am I? Okay. I will be. Who else have we got? We got Bob in Pennsylvania.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Lisa, Brian, everybody. Welcome to the show. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, of course, as usual. And we've got Brian over in San Diego.
I'm sorry. I can't stop laughing already. So it's going to be one of those kind of shows. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, depending on where you are in the country. Very glad to be here. It's a pleasure for having me, Lisa. I love you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We love you too. And we've got Dee.
Hello, everyone.
Up there in cold and snowy Canada. Is it still snowing?
Don't even
go there.
Hey, Dee, you know it's 75 degrees and sunny in San Diego right now, right? It's terrible.
Okay, Brian, look down in the chat. I have something to tell you.
Sorry, Dee.
No, it's pretty. And we've also got Thomas Hughes joining us today. Are you there, Thomas?
No, I left.
Oh, he left. Well, when he gets back, I'm sure he'll be happy to join us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. And thank you for jumping on at late notice. I appreciate that. But I have a very particular reason for asking you to join us today. And we will get to that. Excuse me.
She didn't tell you yet, did she, Tommy?
Yeah, she gave me a brief synopsis, so I've got my seatbelt on and my crash helmet ready, so...
One of the things that we wanted to talk about today was, with all this talk of absolute data, the eye-UV exchange, potentially bypassing technology for manifestation and creation, wanted to have that discussion around what our bodies are, what they truly are in terms of their own form of technology. And this show was started on the premise that our imagination itself is a form of technology, and it's a creative, manifesting technology. So, but that has to extend to our being. And one of the things that came up in a conversation or an interview that Thomas and I did last year was, in his contact with the Sasquatch, he's come to learn that they know and they use their body as a form of technology. So I wanted to sort of delve into that a bit more. And Thomas, have you learned anything from them in regards to how to use the body as a form of technology beyond what we may have discussed in the interview?
Well, there's many things that can be done as far as technology goes, the human technology, and I think it's important to point out that even science and medical practitioners, they called the human body a biomechanical machine. Mm. So, anybody who wants to look that up, just put biomechanical machine in a search engine and you'll find descriptions of it. So right there, that tells everyone that even science admits that it's a machine, a type of machine. Obviously not the kind of machine that we're used to or anything like that, because we have all these machines around us all the time. Computers, cars, you name it. But yes, going back to my teenage years, I began to learn how to use this. And I had some experiences that were rather shocking to me. Shocking in the sense that I had had a lot of adult discontent heaped on me in the form of those kind of things aren't possible. When I was 16 years old, I read a book that was in the Father's Library. It was by an American Indian on the northeast coast. I think he was Algonquin or Mohawk. But he said, and these are woodland Indians, are not plains Indians. He pointed out that one of the ways they would hunt is they would sit next to a tree and they would continue to think over and over in their head, I am just this tree. I am nothing more than part of the tree, until their vibration matched that of the tree. So if they remained perfectly still, nothing would see them. So I tried this. At 16 years old, I sat on a tree in the river bottom on my family's place, and I sat on that tree that had fallen over, and I kept thinking, I'm nothing more than an odd-shaped branch on this tree. I am part of this tree. And it was about 15 minutes later that 3 white-tailed deer walked past me within 20 feet. They never saw me. They never smelled me. They didn't get spooked and run. They just kept right on walking. They never saw me. They never even knew I was there. So I can tell you from experience, it works. Do you literally disappear? No. But I've used that quite a few times in life. Just that one method right there. I've leaned against walls before and continued to think that I'm just part of this wall. And people wouldn't see me. Nobody would see me. I would even call people on the phone and ask them, did you see me as you walked out of the building? No. Were you there? I was like, yep. I was right by the exit door. You didn't see me?
I've played with things like that too in public spaces where if I've been somewhere and I'm not feeling very sociable, or or I'm in a hurry perhaps, and I don't have time to stop and have chats, and I just want to be invisible, I intend that I'm invisible, and I swear no one sees me. It's the funniest thing. I've walked right past people who know me very well, and I can be invisible.
This is the mantra that I say out loud every morning. And this is also the mantra that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs used, and it comes from a book that was written by a man I forget the name of in the 1800s. I'm going to put it in Skype chat here, and I'd like you to read it out loud, Lisa.
Okay.
There it is right there.
I am whole, I am perfect, I am strong, I am powerful, I am loving, I am harmonious, I am happy. That comes from the Master Key, doesn't it?
I think it does. I think that's the name of the book.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the mantra I start off every day with. Of course, there's things that steer me off course, so to speak, interacting with other people. But if I stay in my house with my doors locked, then that statement applies all day long. There's nothing to confuse or get in the way of it.
Mm. So I remember when I was doing quite a few years ago now, when I was going back to look at the sun, when I was sort of investigating the sun and sun gazing and what have you, and I was looking at information on Egypt, and this may be conflicting, I'm not sure, but the information was showing that in some areas they seemed to be highly advanced. You know, they had irrigation and things that were there to make life more comfortable, and yet there was no evidence for the wheel and a form of transport. How they seem to have pathways but no roads as such. And there was this confusion about why a civilization would seem to be so advanced in some areas and not in others. But when I looked at it, to me, it looked like the perfect place for a group of individuals who had not lost those abilities, like teleportation, for example, or telepathy, or, I mean, if there was no need for them, then why build them? And there's evidence in some of the glyphs of them holding what appears to be torches that are lit from no particular, not a flame torch, but lit almost as if it's drawing on the power of the individual who's holding it. And I have heard many, many times that our bodies use enough power to power an entire city or even an entire country for a period of time. And I know there's photographs and descriptions of Tesla holding his globes and just lighting them up with the energy of his body. So if they had all of that, I mean, it's an interest. I mean, who knows if they did? I don't know. But that's where my mind went when I saw all of this information and apparently confusing and contrary information about some of these Egyptian societies. And why have we lost it? And how do we remember it? And that's kind of the conversation I wanted to have today. And for people in the chat room or people who are ringing in, have you remembered? You know, we do seem to be in a period of receiving absolute data right now. And I'm wondering whether anybody else can relate to this, but in the past, whenever I've had a question, I've put it out there to the universe, so to speak, and the answer would come in the form of, it would come externally in the form of, you know, someone sending me an email, perhaps, and just mentioning something in passing, or suggesting I look at a video, or suggesting a book, or a song would come on the radio, and there'd be these little pieces of the answer. And until I really felt that I'd finally put a full answer together. What seems to be happening over the last 3 or 4 months is I have a question, I put it out there, and within, in some cases, minutes, I just know the answer. And when I say I know it, I mean it's an answer that feels completely true, completely on the money for me. So I just want to know if anybody else is having those experiences as well. But I haven't asked that particular question yet of how do I remember how to use my body as a form of technology, how to use it. And someone in the chat room is saying yes. And a couple are, in fact. That's great. Anybody on the panel? Are you noticing these kind of changes?
I have. I've noticed that for a while now. And at times, somebody will ask me a question, and I'll start to speak, and it just goes. I don't know where it comes from, and like afterwards, I'm like, God, I hope somebody had recorded that, because it just comes out, and I know it's the right answer. People would say that you were channeling, but I know it's coming from me, and I know the answer is coming from within me. It comes from a space where you're not thinking, it's just coming out. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, that does explain it. It does. I can relate to how that feels. What about you, Brian?
Sorry, microphone is muted. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to put to words. You know, I mean, it really, for me, it's more consciously recognizing synchronicities a lot more in my life. You know, and especially it's like, and everybody has this story where it's like, you know, somebody will mention something to you. It'll be like a song or a book or something that you have no experience with before, and then all of a sudden you just start seeing it everywhere. Like once you learn about it for the time, What's happening to me a lot lately is I'll start to think about somebody that I need to call, and this happened like a time a day. I was like, I need to give Lisa a call, I need to give Bob a call, and then within a minute, my phone will ring. It'll be them calling me.
Bob and I do that a lot.
I get that. I'm getting that so much now. So as far as answers, having questions and answers, it's a lot of the times it's just something that it's so beyond words. It's such a hard thing to describe in language. It's synchronous tenfold. It seems like the last 6 months. Oops. Hold on.
And you know what? Know what else I also noticed? In conjunction with what Brian says, a lot of the times the stuff that comes out, a couple days later, I'll get confirmation of it from someone else who said nearly the same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
What about you, Dee? What's going on with you?
The same thing. Bob and Brian took my answers. But yeah, it's so funny. I turned the other day, and a friend called me on Skype, and I was like, as I picked up the Skype, you hear it ring, and I clicked answer before I'd even really registered who it was, and it was like, would you stop thinking about me so loudly? Because I knew, you just knew that this person was going to call. I just knew this person was going to call, and I was having one of those hectic mornings where I couldn't kind of jump in and call them. And the phone, the Skype rang. But yeah, all the time now. You think of things, and all of a sudden a song comes on the radio, and you hear one line out of a song that jumps out of the speakers at you. And you
Stairway to Heaven.
Oh my God, did that song actually just say that? Because it's an answer to whatever it was you just asked yourself 35 seconds before that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I shared this with Heather too, when we all first started talking about absolute data and all of us getting all of our memories back, essentially, my 5-year-old was constantly singing the song out of the Anastasia film. I don't know how old this, maybe 10 or 15 years old this film is, cartoon Anastasia. And it's a song that's, in the lyrics, it says, far away, long ago, dreams I almost remember. And it's this whole, in the film, it's this scene where a young Anastasia, who's about 15, 16, goes back to the palace that she grew up in and she has completely forgotten about. And as she's looking around and seeing the objects in the room, it's just starting to bring back memories, but she can't quite grab them. And it was exactly how I'd been feeling. I think I've mentioned it on the show a couple of times, that this sensation of feeling like you're listening to a conversation through a wall and you just can't quite make out what everyone's saying. That feeling. And as soon as she did it for days. She did it for like 4 or 5 days. And as soon as I really took notice and got what she was saying to me, she stopped singing it. Whereas, she couldn't stop singing it before. So that, yes, the hints are everywhere.
Disney movies?
Sorry?
Don't you love when the answers come through Disney songs from Disney movies?
Yeah.
I swear, last week and the week before that, almost every other day, there'd be a kid's song from like a Disney movie or something along those lines going through my head, and the same thing, you would isolate one little sentence of that song and go, oh, I can't believe that. That is just too freaking funny. Now I know that song's been going through my head all day.
I don't even want to say what movies I get my answers from. I'm just kidding.
Are they Swedish with subtitles? No. I'm going to bring in some callers and see if we can't hear from other people on what's going on for them right now. Area code 347.
Well, hello again, everyone.
Hello.
Is that Prince?
Yes, it is indeed. How's everyone tonight?
Good, thanks, man. How are you?
Wow, man. I just am doing so fabulous right now. I just want to say, man, I've got a lot of wonderful things happening around me. I think the courtesy notices are kind of actually energetically formulating something that's manifesting kind of right around me and like right in front of me. So I mean, I'm not sure. I don't have all the answers right now because I think it's working. That's all I want to say. I just appreciate everybody's energy, man. I'm like, you know, as far as the moving forward plans, man, there's a lot of people in my building who need help. You know, nurses. I need, you know, people who are, you know, who'd like to get involved with, you know, these types of people who just have like physical and mental problems, you know, and you know, I just want to try to change the way that we look at wellness and wholeness, health, and things like that. Make this like a, you know, a health center or like a rehabilitation, not more. Even if somebody needs just some place to stay and they just have some problems in their own life, then we can help them with that too. It's like, you know, like the CVAC kind of center, you know, just help people get themselves back to wholeness so that they can then go forward. You know what I'm saying? Like re-educate people and things like that. That's what I'm
Prince,
looking at happen in my own field.
Prince, have you ever heard of a thing called quantum touch?
Quantum touch.
Quantum touch. It's just a healing technique, and what's beautiful about it is that it doesn't require any tools. It's just you learning how to use your own energy. And it's not like Reiki either. It's just, and it's so simple. I can actually see you in that building of yours playing with all the other people in there, or everyone doing a bit of quantum touch with each other and on themselves, and it's pretty amazing. I think if you went to the library, you'd probably find the Quantum Touch book. You might even be able to find it online as a PDF for free.
Okay.
That's because there's no cost attached, and because there's no, you know, you don't have to buy any equipment or anything like that.
It's along the same line. It's along the lines of everybody has the power of healing in their hands if they just recognize it, as opposed to Reiki, where right. it's an energy that you're attuned to. Quantum touch being that everybody has healing, the ability to kind of bring life force energy in and share it through their palm chakras.
Absolutely, and it's the easiest technique I've ever seen, I've ever used, and I've done things like realign hips with it, and like it moves bones. It's amazing, and it's really easy, and it's just called Quantum Touch.
Well, I'm going to check it out. I have got a free download link here. I will drop it into our chat room, and then Lisa, if you can put it into the big chat room. Mm-hmm. I believe that is the link to the free book. I'll go back and just double check it right now.
Cool.
There you go. I've just put it in the chat room.
Wow. I'm actually not in the chat room. I'm just listening in on my phone and whatnot, but I appreciate that. I'm going to look up Quantum Touch. You know, I think I actually had an experience with that at one point in time. Not going to get into that right now, but I think, you know, I actually did that at one point in time. Not fully and wholly, but I was like doing it or something. But I didn't know what I was doing. Then I couldn't do it really, or something. I don't know. Or I may have done it. I don't know. It's weird because I don't know. I'm just learning.
Someone's actually Aaron. Aaron, thank you so much. I've put that link in the chat room to a Dropbox that's got.
Excellent. Good. Because I was just going to say the one that I just posted is no good. Never mind. It's one of those stupid downloads.
Okay. If you're in the chat room, there is a link to a Dropbox. Thank you, Aaron. Awesome. Because I mean, it is. It's really simple to learn. We all have this energy within us. It's just a matter of a couple of simple breathing techniques and learn how to harness it. Really.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. Breathing. That's all it. Yep. Oh my goodness, you're absolutely right. Jeez Louise.
Exactly. Well, thanks for calling in, Prince. Once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Prince.
Thank you, guys.
Keep rocking
it,
brother.
My pleasure. Love, light.
You too, man.
Okay, area code 714.
Hello, it's Katrina
Orange County,
from
that must be
California.
Katrina. I knew from the area code.
Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, everybody. Everybody that is seen and unseen and not actually physically on the call. In response to your question, Lisa, how do we remember? That's part of what I talked about last week when I called in and talked about the You Are the Gold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of what, and I wrote about it on my blog, that just various things come together. When Heather spoke about You Are the Gold initially, and that's what got me to look into the OPPT, and when she was talking about freeing the gold, that's what told me that there was some kind of truth energetically about this. And then when I was going to the Grandmother Speaks gathering, which I had asked them 2 years ago, these are etheric beings, I asked them 2 years ago to guide me as to how we can live directly within the in and out breath with Source. And then they wrote about You Are the Gold. So here I'm hearing the same, and actually when I read their words, You Are the Gold, I heard Heather's voice. So following this, I have spent the last 7 days since I spoke to you guys last, day and night, working on a production that I've now uploaded on YouTube today. It's called You Are the Gold, and it's dedicated to Heather. And I just know, just like you were talking about, when certain things, you hear certain sounds, the whole time I was working on it, hearing their words going over and over in my head as I edited it a billion times, is that this is one of many, because there's many ways to look at the same thing. The net of light is the web that weaves our golden hearts together. So our golden hearts are the points, and then the web is the weaving that weaves us together. And that is a potential hardware, software nexus point for downloading the wave upgrade that's coming in and for also accessing the gold. So
the link, I think I found it on YouTube. You Are the Gold, the Grandmothers Speak.
That's it.
Yeah, I just shared it in the chat room right now. I haven't watched it yet, Katrina,
sure.
but I'm.
And on my blog, I also
shared it.
Thank you so much. And on the blog, that is at People's Trust, Orange County, California, WordPress.com. I put that on the chat earlier. Then I talk a little bit about that, about the inspiration was there and how this speaks to the OPPT. There's two things that are coming through that I'm getting very clearly, and talk about downloads, because like I said, I have been living this, and the etheric beings, there's 12 etheric beings that call themselves the grandmothers. I've been working with them for years, but a woman named Sharon McErlane is actually the one who initially anchored them, and we have beacons out the world that have groups and work with this net of light on behalf of everybody. But what I'm so getting is that this net can be utilized just by listening to it. My invitation is if everybody would read the words of the grandmothers, if it speaks to you, and or listen to this 9-minute video once a day for the next month, we would so amplify this net that is weaving our golden hearts together. And that amplification does twofold. Like I said, it upgrades our hardware of our hearts and the software, and it prepares us for the wave download event that's coming. This is just what I'm getting. See if it feels right to you. But the other part of it that I'm getting is that alone is exponentially powerful. But the other part of it, then my mental brain says, if we added to that an actual event, an actual activity, where we demonstrated to this world and to the Prime Creator that we're awake and we're ready, that we're stepping into being free, and we are ready for the download. The thing that's coming to me is that we have a event horizon that there are many headed towards us in the timelines, but one we're in right now is this thing that's going viral with Monsanto and Obama. It's an awakening point for people to recognize that it is not outside of you. These beings are not going to do it for you. You have to step up and take control of your world yourself. and there's almost every website is talking about this, that this would be a prime opportunity to bring out a very succinct, coordinated effort or invitation for people to join us in a courtesy notice flash mob to Monsanto and their executives and Obama, saying just what our courtesy notices say. You are false. You are personally responsible. Stand down.
I'll try to organize that on American Kabuki, Katrina, so we can talk offline.
And one of the things that was coming to me is that the guys in Australia were so good with the courtesy notices. We could have an easy download where people just click, here's the courtesy notice, send it off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, Brian, can we get that organised so that we can launch it on the next show?
Yep. I'll work on it. We'll get it done.
Fabulous.
So the next thing I'm working on, as soon as I refresh myself, because I feel like I haven't seen sunshine for years, is I can feel it coming on, is how to access the gold through the net. And I know that we can access because I have been living on it in various ways for many, many years. But the next level, like all you guys have been talking about, it is that if we can quicken into this net and have in our idea a reflex of going into it, when the download comes, that's going to upgrade the software and hardware, and now we're full tilt boogie.
Full tilt boogie, did you say? No.
I'm ready. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all that you're doing, and thank you for allowing me to share whatever's coming through me. And I love everybody's piece because all of your pieces are so important, and that's how this is not going to be something where one person does it. We're meant to do it together.
That's it.
I love you.
We love you too, Katrina. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Dee has put a link up to that Quantum Touch as well on removing the shackles. If you missed it in the chat room, or if you're not on the chat room right now, and also People's Trust Australia blogspot has put up a link to You Are Gold Grandmothers Speak. You can also find it on YouTube. So that was great. Thank you, Katrina.
We got an awesome chat room today, by the way.
We do.
Amazing energy going through there. Thanks, chat room. Love you guys.
Area code 773.
I pass. I didn't have a question right now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for listening.
Oh, thanks, man. That was easy.
Area code 905.
Yes, hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi, this is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
How are you
doing?
Sorry, let me just get readjusted here. My question is more about how this information is arrived by many people that are talking about this event that is supposedly happening. I keep hearing reference to the event, and I somewhat believe that it's a wave that is coming to upgrade us, as Diva just spoke about. But I'm wondering where everybody is getting this information from, where they're getting their confirmations from.
To me, it's internal.
Oh, okay.
I felt last October that something shifted, and at the time, I gave credence to Carl Culliman's 28th of October end date for the main calendar. In hindsight, I looked at it and went, wow, maybe he was right. And then, as of about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I felt like whatever this event is, it's already happened energetically, possibly back in October, and that I felt like I was in front of the wave, so to speak, like surfing the wave in, and that it was about to hit shore. And that was the vision, the imagery I got. Now, when exactly it's going to connect with the shoreline, it feels imminent, and I have absolutely no idea what it's going to look like.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking is sorry about that. The reason I'm asking is because of the book that Viola Petit-Neal wrote, Through the Curtain, that obviously is very difficult to get a hold of. But Susan Joy Renison has put up an excerpt on her blog about it, and it's absolutely fascinating about this wave. And the reason I'm so interested is because you're talking about things happening, and I don't want to go into a whole bunch of things or specific things that have been happening, but that's what has been happening to me is that things that have never happened before, like visions. I've never had visions before, and I've had two very distinct ones, and it has left me shaken so much of what's already transpiring, because I had this vision about a year ago that I'm afraid to talk to people about it because it's spooking me out.
Can you share it with us now, though? Can you?
Yeah, you got it now.
Yeah, we all want to hear it.
Okay, just the latest one, I guess. It's really weird because this is how I know the difference between whether it's my imagination that I'm creating it. If I'm creating it, then I'm creating it as I go along. But when a vision happened to me, the two that did happen to me, it was like I was overtaken with seeing something, and as I was seeing it, I was emotionally involved, and you're going to know exactly what sealed it for me when I explain it, that I was brought to seeing the Earth as if I was kind of out in space, like you would see in a science class, and I was looking at it, and it kind of, now please don't freak out when I say this because it's not bad, okay, but it kind of crinkled, almost like if you had a crinkled ball. So I was like thinking of mountains and valleys and whatnot. But when it caught my breath. I went in my vision, and there was some kind of sensation that said, don't worry, we would never use the real Earth. And I thought, oh. And then there was a split screen on my vision. It went from the right to a split screen to the left side of my vision, and I saw almost an empty theater. And there was a young fellow who was about, 23, 27, and he was in the dark part of the audience, and he was having this kind of like a temper tantrum. And there were 4 other people that had been in this play, and the play was over, and they were getting ready to leave, and it had been a long engagement, and this young fellow was having a hissy fit because he didn't want the play to end. And he was, this is going to sound cliche, but I'm standing here with integrity and transparency. He said he didn't want to stop playing the bad guy because he was enjoying all of the benefits and all of the fun, and he was like he was the latest, newest actor. And the other 4 actors seemingly were more mature, and they kind of just smiled inside, and they knew that this fellow was going to be going through some kind of I don't know, metamorphosis change. And so he was basically having a hissy fit that it was over. And so the other 4 people, actors, went home, essentially, in their minds. They went home, and they were going to, get back to their home life and just kind of settle down. And this young fellow I saw him in like a skyscraper with 2 sides all glass to floor ceiling, and there was a chair in the middle of the room, but at the back of the chair was like a dividing wall. So if you were to look to the right, it could have been a kitchen. I don't know, it was a room. And if you looked to the left, it was another room. And he sat in that chair, and I just felt all his emotions that he was going through of being upset that he had to the play was over, and he didn't get to have all the privileges anymore. And I saw that these people were like at the 4 corners of him, spiritually, like just their emotions. They were thinking about him and caring about him as they went along with their business. And he got to a point where he said, oh my gosh, I would have been in a perpetual state of wanting more. It didn't matter what I achieved. I would have wanted more, and I would have wanted more, and I would have been in a perpetual state of want and need and desire, and I would have never been satisfied. And when he actually pulled himself away from that and saw what else was available in life, it was kind of like the 5 of them came together, and he realized the path that he was on was absolutely destructive, and the other 4 were just kind of there watching, like as if you were a parent watching your child go through the struggles of something that, they were first learning. and that was pretty much the end of it.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, you
There
have
was
no
so much
idea
more
how
detail.
apropos that is.
Pardon me?
You have no idea how apropos that scenario is.
I think she does. I think she does.
Well,
she might.
Well, I've never told anybody other than one other person. So, and of course, you know, when I decide to, I just do it on, you know, public radio.
Can I ask what your name is, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Deborah.
I forgot your name.
My name is Deborah Lee. Deborah Lee, actually. Yes, my handle on my avatar name is being Deborah Lee. On like YouTube and stuff like that. Please don't advertise that. I'm just saying that I'm just being myself. I'm just Deborah Lee.
Deborah Lee?
Yes.
Now you said this was only the second vision you've ever had.
Then let me say this to Deborah.
I had two visions.
let me say this.
Just two visions. I'm sorry. I'm not near the house line, so I'm trying to keep your line clear. Could you please repeat what you said?
I was just wanting to say to you.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Yes.
Just wanted to say thank you. This is Thomas.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Lisa, do you want to describe to Deborah how incredibly accurate her vision is, or at least as appears to us?
Oh, you can go for it.
Okay. Well, if you've been following along with conversations that we've had with Heather and conversations we've had with Dee, because in Heather's the source of most of this information, what she's describing to us is that behind the scenes at the very top of the people who have been running this planet, there's a group which she calls the Divines. And these are essentially immortal beings acting out the role of the bad guys at the top of, you know, what we call the Cabal. And that the play that they've been enacting through contract, and all of us have had contracts for it, was actually announced as over on December 10 last year. And that was brought to our attention publicly, I think, in February, but the powers that were notified on the day that the UCC filing was actually made. And what's going on at the moment is that hissy fit you're talking about, where some of these people won't let go. They won't acknowledge that it's over, that the play's done. They've got to go home. Some have and some haven't, apparently. And there's still a couple left who are hanging in there and just don't want to let go. And they're almost, I think, at the point of letting go because they've really got nothing. They've got nowhere to go now. Their incredible Ponzi scheme in the financial system is about to blow up in their faces. They know that too many people know about them and they can't do anything aggressive, or they'll just get dumped out in they'll get outed in the mainstream media.
And Chris, you got to say that all stems from them being hooked on the hierarchy.
Yeah, they're actually hooked on being top of the heap, on all of those privileges that they've had, all of that energy of ours they've been harvesting for so long. And if that's
with power.
And with power.
Mad with power.
Absolute.
Right? Yeah.
with more or less absolute power, or for all practical purposes at times it's been absolute power. So if you were looking for any sort of hook to confirm that your vision is real, that's it. That's absolutely it for me.
Mm-hmm. The other aspect of this that's coming to light is, we think of us here on this little 3D planet as being the only ones who have been played and the only ones who have been manipulated and lied to about who we are and what we can do. But apparently that's not the case. That right throughout creation and throughout this hierarchy structure, they've all been lied to. And Heather actually made the comment to me yesterday that she said our alternative media is also their alternative media. They, by tuning into us and tuning into, the alternative media scene, they are learning a lot about their structure and how it's really been played and how they've been lied to.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of fascinating. And this for me, on a personal level, it ties back into that beast vision I had a few months back. How I saw that, that the freeing of all of creation was happening here, and it was reverberating back right back to source. And that felt so true for me, and why we've had so much attention from ETs and EDs is because it had to happen here. This is the only place it could. The trigger had to happen here. So I completely relate to everything you just shared.
Yeah. Also, Lisa, one thing to add to that, one element of the event, as I understand it, is, everybody understands this. Well, I can't say everybody understands, but there's a perception that this is a multi-dimensional universe, and the dimensions have been set up on a system of hierarchy, where you go 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, however many D it goes up to, and those that are up in the higher dimensions, we call them the wizards, or the wizards behind the curtain, or the divines. The reason why the entire universe is watching in on the Earth, the galactics included, as this whole thing unfolds, is because this is an event. It's a multi-dimensional event. It encompasses all dimensions, and all dimensions are being what is referred to as being reconciled. So that doesn't mean that all the dimensions are going to go away and it's only going to become one, but we as conscious beings in the third dimension will have conscious access of all of our higher selves in all these other dimensions. So there will be no hierarchical system with anybody being above or below anybody at that point. It'll all be brought back to the absolute, which is all as eternal essence.
Yeah. The other aspect.
Something?
We all jumped in.
Yeah, we all did.
Everybody jumped.
We jumped in.
I just wanted to add something that Heather was talking to me and AK about earlier this week. It's only Tuesday. Some point in the last couple of days. And she was talking about one of the big startling revelations for the galactics is the fact that they have been indoctrinated with this belief that only we here on this planet have the ability to manifest, to create. And it's a whole pile of crap, right? That we are all in Source's universe. We every being in Source's universe has this ability, and they have been told and convinced, and like I said, indoctrinated to believe that they don't have this ability. So I think maybe some of the other reason of them hanging around is they're waiting for us to all wake up to make this all happen, and now all of a sudden they're kind of saying, oh, wait a second, we can do this too? Whoa. How did this get lost in the translation?
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, it all relates to the hierarchical structure, because if everyone's equally a creator being, you can't have hierarchy.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's been going on is that even out there amongst the galactics, they operate on hierarchy. Now, not a kind of negative energy harvesting hierarchy necessarily, although I believe some are, but hierarchy nonetheless. And the event that's coming is of absolute data for them as well as us. Okay, this event affects everybody equally, but it's triggered here. When I say everybody, I mean all races, all places, everywhere in the universe, triggered from here. And the wave that Deborah saw in her vision, I absolutely concur with Lisa. It really started in late October, and we've just been swelling up. If you've ever done any surfing, you'll know what I mean. There's a long uprise as the wave starts to come in, then it really forms, and then it breaks. And I think we're at the spot where it's just swelling up to break. And everybody can feel it. Everybody
that feeling.
Focused on it, especially.
That feeling, it's always been like this anticipation. That even no matter what happened in the world, I've always had this anticipation. Like, I was expecting something. Like you're sitting in your living room and a package is coming and you just don't know when. It's something that you bought and you're looking forward to. That's the kind of sense I've always had going on in the background of my mind. And as we started to, discover different things, and all these things became available, the OPPT made their announcement. It started to pull that feeling forward, if you know what I mean. And this is like, Katrina asked, where do we get this information? It's a knowing, and we all know it. We all know it. And yesterday I was talking with one of my friends, and we were talking about this, something's going on, something's happening, because even the people who, in my life, at least in my circle, who I thought were never going to wake up, ever, are feeling it. Like something's going on. And I got the sense, because I said, there's lots of changes happening, but I got the sense that we've been practicing this technology in our dreams. I got a very, very strong sense that we've all been practicing in our dreams on how to manifest. We've been doing it and actually, playing with each other in our dreams. Does that sound right to you, or does that resonate as true to anyone else?
Man, I'm on double shift when I'm asleep at the moment. I'm doing some serious work.
Me too. That's actually what has really confirmed for me personally that this is coming, because I call them ascension dreams. I try not to use the word ascension too much anymore, because I look at it in a different way, but it's a word that people seem to understand. But I've had a handful of the most powerful ascension dreams where I'm just going through this total, I shake when I tell the story, because it's like my whole body is being charged with this upgrade. And this is before I even knew what was going on, or had even read or started exploring. And it's only intensified since then. And each one of these dreams is unique in its own way, but the feeling, I had a dream, I've told everybody on this call, but I had I'll share it on the radio. I had a dream where the Galactics came to me. It's a really long dream, so I'll just cut to the chase. And they came, it was very vivid. I remember it like I remember a story that happened to me yesterday. That's when I woke up from this dream. It was like an actual experience, as opposed to only remembering little details about the dream. It was like an actual scene that I experienced in reality. And these Galactics, they came to me, and they told me that they came here for me, and they touched me skin to skin, and it charged my entire body, and my whole body was just shaking with this feeling of just being I don't know if it was a DNA upgrade or what it was, but it was like a electrical charge. And I woke up from this dream feeling the reverberations of this energy pulsing through my every pore of my body, so much so that it took about a minute for it to subside, even after I was already awake. And I wrote enough about it, iPhone notes, and I looked back and I reread the note later on, and I wrote the note at 4:46, meaning I woke up from the dream at exactly 4:44 in the morning. So something's going on there.
Something's definitely going on there.
Something's going on there.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you, you mentioned something that was on Susan Joy Renison's website.
Yes.
What was that?
It is an excerpt from the omitted chapter in Viola Petit Neal. That's her name, Viola Petit Neal. Her book Through the Curtain. She left it with her partner that it was not to be published until after her death, and I believe it was 1983 that it was published. And Susan Joy Renison has it's called the $1,000 book celebration. When she talked about this book, the $20 book went up to $1,000. And because it talks about this woman who had journeys when she went to sleep. You're talking about dreams, but she was actually awake, and she had, her partner is Sharifa. I apologize, I don't remember her full name. And apparently this woman helped record it, and she would be able to report on what she was seeing and then go through this curtain and watch and listen to what was happening and then come back and tell this lady. And she was apparently a doctor, a physician, and a female in that time. Definitely didn't want to ruin her reputation. But this is the excerpt that was omitted, and this is, I have not read the book. I would like to, but it's still like $400.
Wow.
And that's the one that talks about that the evolution of the human race is not evolving as quickly as it should, or there's been some delays, and so they are going to, they meaning, I think it's Ascended Masters or something, that they are going to acquire a cloud, and it will raise consciousness in all living things, plants, everything. And she's coinciding it with NASA's report of this 10 million mile wide cloud that is bumping up against our heliosphere right now. And she's been reporting it.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I do like Susan's work. And I think I did read that excerpt some time ago. But if I can get hold of that book, I will make it available, because $400 is ridiculous. I'm sorry. If anybody knows of... well, yeah, I mean, that's just outrageous. So if anybody does have a copy of it or knows of where there's a PDF of this to download, then please let us know.
In fact, well, the original printing, I believe, of the book was 1963. So this is not something that is even picked up on anything that is on the net today or anything prior to. I mean, after 1963, she didn't have that influence, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why I put some credence to this woman's work, is because of her position of being a physician and working with another woman who I believe was also a physician, and not wanting that particular chapter published until after she transitioned.
So it was only that chapter, not the book itself?
Just that one chapter, from my understanding anyway, yes. But it says a lot. The sections that were omitted says a lot. There's the whole, on Susan's site, I think there are 2 or 3 sections pulled out of the book for you to read, and it's absolutely fascinating, because what she said then is what NASA has, and many other people actually are talking about it and have noted, that our heliosphere is being bumped up against this cloud. They don't know what it is, but it's excited with protons. I think protons or plasma or something. But it's pressing up against us now, apparently. That can be checked out on NASA.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Deborah. And I really want to thank you for sharing your vision, because it was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Awesome. Thank you.
I absolutely believe in synchronicity, and I thank you for your time and everything, all the time that everybody puts out, and all the effort is most appreciated by all the listeners, I'm sure. So I'm speaking on behalf of everybody that we obviously appreciate it, because we listen to you every Monday and Tuesday.
I'd like to give the caller I'd like to give you a new word to consider. Instead of synchronicity, serendipity, which is synchronicity and serendipity together at the same time.
It's like you knew. I love that word, serendipity.
Yes, synchronicity.
And I so believe in synchronicity. So say that one more time. It's called synchronicity.
Yep.
I love it. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Take care.
You too. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Deborah.
Bye.
Guys, we will take a few more calls, but in the second hour we are planning on doing a meditation. To really, we did it very, very briefly for like 30 seconds last week on grounding this absolute data, and you all, so many of you wanted more, so we are going to do it. And we'll take a few more calls first, though.
Well,
Area code 303. Yes, Thomas?
I was going to see if I could relate my recent experiences.
Absolutely, go for it.
Well, there's a woman I've been working with in Mississippi, and last night we had another experience with the Sasquatch people, because she's seen them in person. They come around her house, and we were talking on the phone late at night, and they said something to me, And I verbally said it out loud. I said, I'm not going to tell her that. I'm not going to tell her that until you say something that corresponds to what you're asking me to tell her. And she was wanting to know, and I said, just listen to them for a moment and see what you're getting from them. And so she listened, and she said, what the female's telling me is that she would like to compare notes with me and teach me what she knows about herbs and how to use them. I said, okay, now I can tell you what they asked me to tell you, because that lines up directly with what they asked me to tell you. And what they had asked me to tell her was that she began to spend 30 to 45 minutes by herself out in the woods every day. And then she said, why? What's going on with that? And I said, this gives you a chance to acclimate to them and them to acclimate to you, so that she can do just what she said she'd like to do. She wants to teach you what she knows about herbs. And your dream will finally come true. You'll be able to sit down and talk with one. So that's what went on last night. That's just one of my experiences that's going on with the Sasquatch people.
So they're really coming out of their seclusion.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat room just asked for clarification on what Sasquatch is.
Oh, well, they're known by different names: Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, skunk ape. How many different names are there? But they're a type of people.
We have a name in Australia, which is Yowies. They're called the Yowie.
Among other names like Ponkalunka and all those different names that the Aborigines call them.
And they go from, 2 feet tall to 10 feet tall?
Oh, there's some that go between 15 and 18 feet tall, no problem.
Okay.
And are they telling you much at the moment about what's coming, Thomas? They've spoken to you about it before, I know, but anything recent?
No, but it's getting ready to transpire. I was in on a briefing. I'll call it a briefing. It wasn't a meeting, it was a briefing to inform us. And there was probably about 200 souls there. While our bodies were sleeping, we were there. I don't consciously remember it in the body, but I can access it. What I remember was being briefed by an elder down in South America of things that are about to transpire on this planet. Many events are about to transpire. And then the woman in Mississippi called me the next day, and she remembers her dream. She remembers it consciously as a dream in the body. And she remembers very much the same thing. So our information correlates, and I had to sit here with morning coffee and shift gears in my head, is what I call it, or go into an altered state, and then allow the information to start coming through. And there was a lot of people there at that briefing.
Can you reveal any of the content of the briefing, Thomas, or is that not information you've got at this point?
Well, no, the events that are going to transpire is kind of what I talked about in my interview with Lisa last year. If you've ever seen a dying animal is desperate to stay alive, and it will do all sorts of crazy stuff. And so essentially what we're seeing, some of the events that are going to just some of them, not all of them, but some of them, have to do with the powers that were surrounding that, because their paradigm, just like that caller that called in previously, their paradigm is a dying animal. And so they're doing anything and everything to hold on to it. So there may be a few events that transpire based on that.
You know, Thomas, I think that we've actually posed this question several times on the show about how to deal with and feel about the powers that were. And overwhelmingly, at least the people who are participating in this show, are more than happy to accept the role that these individuals have played, love them, and forgive them if forgiveness is necessary. Perhaps in the meditation we could even include an embracing of all of these people and individuals and gratitude for the roles that they have played. I mean, I do not believe that there are any victims here. That we've all chosen our participation in this game, knowing full well what we were signing ourselves up for. And
may I speak honestly on this?
Yep.
Okay.
No, blow smoke up our butts, please, Tom.
No, I'm going to speak honestly, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of them. I really do. The reason I want to thank them is because I would never have the ability to define with absolute definition, complete, total definition of just exactly what a absolute asshole is. So I'm thanking them. I'm thanking them from the bottom of my heart because I wouldn't be able to define that if they hadn't played the role that they played.
I actually, I'm copying and pasting an article that Jenna wrote from one of the Skype groups for Rick and Kabuki. It's Calling All Eternal Hearts, and there's actually an exercise in there where we talk about this. She sent this to me today. It's a really beautiful article, and I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree with more with the content. I mean, you can't fight back. You can't charge a situation with anger or fear or resentment or hate or war or fighting or any combination thereof and expect to be able to move on to a better way and a new paradigm. You have to be able to forgive, and it's all about recognizing the eternal essence in each other. And the way that we've kind of chopped this up on another one of the shows that we did is some of these so-called powers that were, they had some of the most difficult roles to play in all of this. And when the game is over and all the costumes are removed, it's like those are gonna be the people that really leave the standing ovation because of how difficult of a role it ultimately was. So realizing and recognizing the eternal essence in all of us is the key to be able to move on to where we're headed.
I'm going to share something personal, but it helped me come to that place. And it was my own personal journey with my own father. He was a true Gemini. And on one side of the coin, he was a lovely, charming man. When he died when I was 15, you couldn't fit all the people in the church. He was very popular. The other side was a very sadistic, cruel, mentally unwell man. And I grew up very, very angry and hating him. And was looking forward to the day that I turned 16 so that I could just get out. I could leave. And I could give him the big finger and be out of there. And he died about a month before I turned 16. Someone's got a lot of dishes going on in the background. It's very noisy. Brian or Thomas, if someone could mute.
No,
that's
it's not me.
Brian. And I then spent the 5 years after he died feeling very, very angry that he then robbed me of my opportunity to tell him where to go. And it was through a lot of, there was counseling, there was, meditation, there was being on a spiritual path for some time, there was all of that finally led me to a place where I got to the, forgiveness bit. I had to forgive him. And then when I got through the forgiveness bit, I realized that wasn't enough. It wasn't over yet. That forgiveness was just a stepping stone to something else. And what I eventually got to was a place where I understood that we are all aspects of the Creator, and that for an individual to behave and treat another aspect of the Creator in the way that he treated me, then that is what a sacrifice that is. To remove yourself from who you really are, so far removed from who you really are. And that I was then able to go to a place of gratitude. Because if he hadn't been the way he was with me, given me the challenges that he gave me, I would not be who I am, doing what I'm doing, leading the life that I'm living. And from my perspective, I love my life. There are lots of things that I'm very, very grateful for in terms of my partner and my children and the friends that I have and the people I'm connected to. If any of that was changed as a result of not having those challenges growing up, then I would be missing out. So when I really, and I had to dig deep, I really did get to that place of absolute gratitude for the sacrifice that he made to remove himself from who he is, remove himself from, I guess in Heather speak, the eternal essence of who he is to such a degree. What a gift that was for me. So I was able to then apply that to the powers that were. And so it was for me it was an easy step.
You know, Lisa, you're inspiring me to talk about something that I haven't talked about anywhere, just with a couple of people. Here back in January of this year, the first week of January, I got up one morning and I was starting to brew coffee, and I felt another consciousness come into mine, and I felt the energy signature, so I knew who it was, but it was different. And so I simply said, "What is it you want?" And this consciousness started saying to me, "I'm sorry for everything that I've done to you. I'm so sorry." And I said, "You know, I would be remiss if I didn't accept what you're saying to me right now, so I do. But it behooves me to tell you that I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart, just like I did back in 2011 when I verbally thanked you over the phone. I'm thanking you." And the being said to me, "Why are you thanking me?" And I said, "Because without you, you exemplified everything for me that I never wanted to be. You showed me everything I never wanted to do." I said, "And I'm just curious. Why are you coming to me now and saying this? Because you're not the same as you are here in this now." And he said to me, "Well, I talked with you in this now where I'm at, and you said it's not me you need to apologize to. It's me in that now that you need to apologize to." And so it goes back and forth. And the person I was speaking with was my father. And he's still alive right now.
Wow.
Hell, he is.
I also want to say something else, just for everybody to consider. It's out there to rent or to buy, whichever. There's an excellent movie that describes a lot of what we're talking about. In fact, almost everything. That movie is with Matt Damon, and it's called The Adjustment Bureau.
Yeah, great film.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, it's Chris.
It's me.
I love Chris's signature. Yep.
I don't have your giggle, Brian, but look, no, it's an excellent little movie when viewed from that perspective.
What's it called again? I got to write that one down.
The Adjustment Bureau.
Adjustment Bureau. Cool.
I'm going to need to go and watch it again, actually. Prompted that. Are we ready to take another call?
Sure, get to that Colorado call.
Okay, area code 303.
Hello. My name is Brunel.
Hi, Brunel.
Hi. I'm just relating to everything that everybody's talking about. One of the things that I'm always amazed at is coming to this planet, having the life that we've all had, feeling the sorrow of constantly seeing the earth being damaged and people dying in wars, and we could see the injustice and we couldn't explain it to people around us who were patriotic, quote unquote, and thought it was just fine, and just coming up to this like giant crescendo now where the tide has turned and we feel like finally the great happenings are upon us, and it was worth the struggle, the sorrow, the sadness. I still look at the earth and I still feel bad, and I still see, the beetle kill and the pine trees that have died under the chemtrails and the horrible things that have happened. But I can also try to imagine at that same time that this is all going to turn into a beautiful Celtic forest. The planet is going to look like it has in the past. It will look like that in the future. And I'm just extremely grateful to be a part of this whole thing. That's all I want to say.
I agree completely.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bob, I'm going to give you a few minutes to, because I'm just going to put you on the spot again, but I'm going to give you a few minutes to get your head around a meditation to talk us through while we take another couple of calls. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Lisa. Just before we do that, there's just something I have the urge to say, and I wanted to do it before we talk about the meditation.
Okay.
Because it's a process that I've come to understand, and partially from interacting with Heather, partially from our discussions, and partially from talking to one of our energy guys in particular who's really good at explaining this. And that's the concept of creating energetic spaces as a first step in manifestation. When an alcoholic is trying to recover, the first thing they have to do is admit they've got a problem. That creates an energetic space for that person where healing can take place. And if you look at what's happened with the OPPT, step after step after step we've gone through has been first to create an energetic space in the minds of a growing larger number of people that such a thing as winding up the cabal was even possible, that such a thing as a CVAC was even possible, that such a thing as our contracts, and that they really did exist and had been terminated. All of these are energetic spaces which were introduced to us and accepted, and therefore by our will and desire could be populated with huge amounts of energy, which has led us to the point we are now, where the universal exchange has an energetic space, and people are now filling that with their energy, and you can see there's writings coming out now about how that would actually work. And the event was also announced, it's been talked about. It was then announced at document level and talked about more. An energetic space has been created for it. Now, the meditation Bob's going to be working on and presenting to us, as he's, I'm sure he's beavering away now in his brain, is us now filling that energetic space. And when there's energy in a space like that, that's what we use to manifest back into physicality. So if you're consciously aware that this is the process taking place, I think it actually helps us to direct our focus, because this is all about focus, what we're focused on. What we will and desire is what we focus on, and that's what we're going to manifest. So I just had the urge to clarify that for people, because time after time, I see this happening, and I'm really understanding just how key it is to the whole process. That's all I needed to say.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. We'll take another couple of calls though before we move into it. Area code 514. Area code 514?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hi. Thanks
Hello.
for taking my call.
That's okay. What's your name?
Montreal.
Sorry, what was it, Paul?
Paul from Montreal.
I'd like to, I'd like to say thanks to Chris, because with the video that he put on, I was able to make all my filings. And now I'm looking for the invoice document. I can't find it nowhere.
It's actually, if you go to the OPPT website, into the, and let me just get the path right, into the documents folder. Let me Of course, I'm nowhere near that right at the moment. If you just give me a moment to drop into the right place. Okay. Now, of course, my computer's running at half a mile an hour. Having done that, it's in the resources menu under documents.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Courtesy. If you look at courtesy notice and courtesy notice guidelines, you should actually download a zip file, and one of the things that's in there is actually an invoice sample as a Word file, a Microsoft Word file. And you can go and edit that.
But that zip thing, you have to go on the computer, and I don't know how that works.
Okay. Will you
put it on the? Can you guys put it on maybe on the D site and the AK so it could be visible easily?
You're talking about the invoice?
Just a sample invoice. Yeah, look, do you have problems?
That's on the opt-in site. Opt-in.
It is on the opt-in site. It's in the zip file with the courtesy notices. If you have problems opening a zip file, and you probably shouldn't, because Microsoft Windows and the Mac have both been able to handle zip files for quite a while. So you have a go at downloading it. Treat it like a folder. Double-click on it when you've downloaded it, and it should open another window and show you everything that's in there. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll get them to post it as a separate download. Okay, just to make sure people absolutely can find it. And we'll call it something really obvious like sample.
There's one email that I have that I can give to him. If he wants to email me, I can email it back as an attachment.
That's quick.
That's going to be difficult also because my computer, I would have to reboot it. Nobody can call me back. I can call you, but you can't call me back. So that's why I was asking if it would be possible to make it easier. Because I've been a whole month looking for it, and the zip thing, I'm not good with computer, and man, it's difficult.
It's okay. Also,
I think that paper is...
Guys, please get it up on the website by itself after the show.
Okay, I'll post it.
Okay, it will be up on optin.com by itself. Give it half an hour after the show. Okay.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to ask Paul. Before you go, Paul, I wanted to ask you. Are you Ojibwe or Cree?
Micmac.
Micmac. Okay.
Yeah. You're pretty good. You're pretty good.
Did you say he's a Big Mac?
he's a Big Mac.
Fries come with that or what?
Micmac, Brian. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm hungry. People are putting in the chat. Brian must be hungry. Yes, I am hungry.
Paul, all I can say to you, Paul, is I can smell my own.
I don't even want to go there. Bye, Paul.
What is going on right now? Bob with the meditation.
Bob, you ready?
Oh, goodness, I think so. I guess so.
Well, one last thing before we get into this meditation with Bob. The guy with no arms and no legs, Bob. Because he just goes up. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. I wanted to
you can't go into a meditation like that. Come on.
I wanted to give you a link to give to the chat room. This is a guy in Ontario, Canada, that has ongoing visitations from the Sasquatch people, and he documents it with a film camera, so you can see 18-inch footprints with a 6-foot-long stride, or a 5-foot-long stride between each footprint, and things that they leave him because they weave things together and leave it on his porch at night. And then he finds it the next morning and it videotapes or records the trackways, and there's always a great big set of footprints and smaller footprints walking with the great big set of footprints, so you can see it on that link if you want to give that to the chat room.
Yep, done. I'll put it in again, second time. Okay. Bob, you ready to go?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do this a little differently this time. I'm going to use some portions from a Cryon channeling that I had heard because it's so appropriate. And I just uploaded a different, because I don't know how long it'll go. Whatever comes out, it will go wherever we go.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a hemi-sync meditation, and I'll use that one instead of the normal one that we use.
Well, you'll have to press play because it's not showing up at my end.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready.
No problem. I want everyone to find a relaxing place. Whether it be in your armchair or in your couch, find a place where you can relax and just breathe. Let go of all of the tensions of the day, all of the worries and stresses, obligations, cares. Let's take a moment and just breathe in and feel the rhythm of your body, the motion of your lungs expanding. Feel the rhythm of your heart beating, the sensation of the air on your skin. Feel the vibrant energy of light flowing through it, emanating from it, a golden glow, pulsating with the rhythm of your body, that is the rhythm of the universe. And I want you to move as I take you on a journey. Move deep within. Within your heart, there is a space of eternal essence. And there in that space, there is a corridor of knowing. Each side of this corridor has doors. Some of these doors are open. Many of these doors are closed. This is the corridor of your DNA. All of the knowing, the absolute knowledge and technology are behind all of those closed doors. See them as they illuminate down the column. And notice around your neck there is a golden key. As you move down the corridor, you unlock each door and open it. And as each door opens, you are flooded with the memory of the knowing. The memories of all that you were and all that you are. And you are elated. Such joy. You feel it pulsating through your body. And you notice as the colors change through the corridor, light illuminates with each door you open. You are filled with anticipation as you hurry down the hallway, waiting to open the next door. And with each door you are filled with more joy, more knowing, until you reach the end of the corridor. You know this door. It is the door of now. all of the experiences of lifetimes ago and lifetimes now, all coming together. You are laughing and crying at the same time at all of the drama you've experienced. And you open the final door as you turn the key, and you walk in, and there is a giant banquet hall. And as you step in, you realize that you are not alone. All of your brothers and sisters in the here and now, those that are listening now and those that will listen in the future, those that have played the game for eons of time, the villains and the heroes, the oppressors and the oppressed, and they are all there and you remember them. This grand drama that you played out to this magnificent closing, and they are all there to greet you. And there's such a celebration, such joy, such elation, as you greet each and every one of them, and you embrace them for the roles that they played, and you feel the celebration moving through your heart as it coalesces through your body and emanates out. And you are grateful. And you are thankful. And above all, you are free. And so, it is.
Okay, back you come, everyone.
Oh.
You okay, Brian?
Man, we don't call him Guru Bob for nothing.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was awesome, man.
That was just amazing. Thank you, Bob. That was phenomenal.
Wow. Looks like the chat room loved it.
Mm-hmm. Lots of tears of joy. Oh, that was heavy. I hope that was heavy in a good way.
Oof.
I think Bobby even surprised himself.
I think I did.
Did anyone else see an awful lot of purple?
I'm vibrating.
Yeah, me too.
You are free. So it is. Wow.
Yeah, nicely said that last part.
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bobby.
You know, I think maybe we want to leave these meditations to the very end, because I really don't feel like talking anymore.
Oh, no, we used to have this problem all the time on the show. We'd come back and still sit here like blithering idiots for a while.
Yep, just sitting here blithering.
If you're feeling froggy, you could jump on asking me to talk.
Are we gay? No, okay. Let's ask the question that I originally wanted to ask you, which I haven't actually got around to yet.
Okay.
When we say that the Sasquatch know that their bodies are the technique, they are the tool, the technology, what kinds of things are they doing?
Well, like I've said quite a few times, they know how to. Since we are vibrational beings, in this version of reality, if you'd like to call it that, they know how to increase or decrease In other words, make it go faster or slower, their vibration, which is why some people have the experience of seeing them go invisible. Because when they reach a higher frequency or a lower frequency than what we're vibrating at, we no longer see the reflected light off their body. So they're not really invisible, and yet they are. You're just not seeing the reflected light off their body anymore because they're at a faster vibration. And so they might still be right there, probably are still right there 50 feet away from you, but you're not able to see them anymore. So yes, I know how to do that.
Keep forgetting to do your red check, babe.
I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Sounded like someone was asking a question.
I think somebody had the question, is Thomas a Sasquatch?
Not in this life.
He's almost tall enough.
Thomas, I just got a question from the RTS chat room, and Kim would like to know if they shapeshift, like maybe into a deer or another animal.
Sometimes they do, and that's a learned behavior. Not all of them can do that because they don't take the time to learn how to. But a lot of times you'll hear of sightings, and then later on they'll say it was just a bear. I thought it was a Sasquatch, but it was just a bear because the Sasquatch shapeshifted into a bear, or so the person who saw them thought that's what happened.
Oh, you mean they don't say it's a weather balloon?
No.
Swamp cat. It was just swamp cat.
Dun dun dun.
A lot of times they know how to do this as well. They know how to plant thoughts in your head because we don't know how to work this physical construct of this body that we live in. So they can place thoughts in your head. You can't see me, and again, they could be just 50 feet right in front of you, but the synapses in your brain that make all the nerves fire and connect everything through the eyeballs when you're looking no longer see them because they planted that thought in your head, you cannot see me. And the synapses quit firing and registering that they're there, so you can't see them anymore. Also, there's people who have talked about going into an area and they're overwhelmed by fear, and they turn around and leave the area. And that's because the Sasquatch are instilling fear in them, not because they're going to do anything mean to them or hurt them, but because they don't want them in their area, because you're walking into their house. So they're able to do that as well. A lot of researchers say it's infrasound, and I'm going, no, it's not. It's thought energy, and most humans don't know how to use that.
So, in simple speak, telepathy, yes?
Well, yeah, you could call it that.
That's how they communicate with you, isn't it? For the moment.
Yeah, I call it mind speak because there's more that goes on in a communication than just words, and it's not always words. Sometimes you just get feelings or images, and then the understanding, the knowing comes through once that happens. But yeah, and I get physical validation on most of those things.
Right.
I will send 90% of those things. I get physical validation on. So, my experiences are my own, and I share them when people ask, but I made the mistake of trying to share it with everyone when I first got started, and I've been called hoaxer, delusional. I've been told that I live in a fantasy world. It's got to be your multiple sclerosis. That's why you're imagining these things. And I'm like, wow, really?
Really?
Were you there? Did you see them like I did?
Fantasy world is so much more fun, anyways, Thomas. So.
Oh yes, I know.
You're doing just fine.
Just all these people that have downtrodden upon me because I've had Sasquatch experiences, and then they'll look at me and say, "You believe in Sasquatch? That's just childish." And I'll look at them and say, "Well, you believe in Jesus Christ? Have you ever seen him or spoken with him? Really?"
Okay, guys, something in my kitchen just exploded. And I can't mute myself because the screen on this... Oh, hang on. I don't know what's happened.
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. That's really weird. Something just went pop.
Was it Crystal?
I don't know. I haven't walked into the kitchen yet to find out. But the power went out in the kitchen, so...
That's not good.
No.
Do you need to disappear and go and put out a fire or anything?
I think Phil's on it. I lost my Skype for a second, so I couldn't even mute myself. So, there it is. There it is. I was going to run off into the kitchen, but... Okay, no, it's all good. Phil's on it.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil. If the house is burning down, I'm sure he'll give me a heads up. So, I know that we're all feeling a bit vague after that Guru Bob meditation, but we still have a few minutes left, so let's take another call. Area code 323. Area code 323?
323, that's LA.
Hello, if you're in LA. Nope. I will move on. Area code 808.
Aloha.
Aloha.
This is Ginger.
Hi,
everybody.
Hi, Ginger.
Hi, Ginger.
This has just been such a fun call. I think I would say, especially in the beginning, that we are collectively removing each brick of illusional walls about this point, and it's so much fun with you guys. So thank you. I just, getting back to the biotechnology that we are, John Ocean here has been conducting classes in time jumping, to a positive timeline, to contact another you, to get information.
Was he the gentleman that's about 80 years old?
Well, he's the first one, I think, to come out with it, and she learned about it from him, and then she's been providing it here.
Uh-huh.
So that's like another way that you can use your mind. I mean, I think bottom line, what Bob is saying, there's just an infinite range of possibilities of how, we've just forgotten, we've chosen to forget, right? And it's all coming back online, but that's been a lot of fun, and people have really enjoyed that whenever she's offered that. And the other thing is that I was sort of seeing when Katrina was on the call and kind of what I've been focusing on lately is the archons. Some of you probably got my emails, but they're a really important piece to the bigger picture that, I included in this meditation, and thanking them for all the same reasons. Because I feel like when you go all the way back to Sophia and what that all means, basically what I wrote here really quickly, it's like I see energy threads or matrix of creating a hologram, that we think of as our physical reality. We are shifting from the archon threads back to the human DNA fetal threads of Sophia inner creation. And maybe we can use these golden threads to do so. Just a thought. I don't know. We are the ones who have called this shift to happen. And as we wake up, we will experience ourselves maybe as portals. Who knows? Be open. And I was just cracking up, too, to learn, because I've been following Sheldon's theory and info for some time, and just to learn yesterday that even the galactics have been duped, essentially by the archons. I mean, everything is steeped, in this energy. And so I feel like it's really important to bring up. So anyway, I just love you guys, and I just want to make those comments, and thanks so much for all you're doing.
Ginger, before you
thanks
go.
for what you're. Thanks for real quick. Ginger is she sends the most copious and amazing notes of every single call that we do, and she sends it to our email, and I read them, and I pick up on things that I didn't even pick up on while we were in the middle of the call. Maybe I space out because they're 2 hours sometimes. But I just want to thank you publicly because you deserve it. Thank you so much for doing that week in and week out. We really appreciate it, Ginger.
Yeah, actually, I asked Peter to pass my thank to you this morning, and he did. And I do the same thing. I actually read your notes on our shows. And, Brian, you must space out because they're always 2 hours, not occasionally.
Hey,
I
do a lot of other shows other than these two. All right, Lisa? So don't go trying to put me in check like the Buffalo that one time. All right?
Okay. I want to say something to Ginger, and Ginger, I really hope you laugh about this. You may have heard it before. I want to submit to you that you need to add a second name to your existing name, and that name is Snap. Ginger Snap.
Snap. Maybe that's my new pen name.
There you go.
Snap.
For a second there, Thomas, I thought you were going to come out with a Gilligan's Island joke.
No.
Yeah, I already had lots of those. The other thing is, I just wanted to add to the meditation, all the prior discussions to it, related, is probably some of you have heard of Ho'oponopono, which is the ancient Hawaiian way of resolving all issues within, without.
Yep.
But it's a big, long, ceremony process that is not very accessible to Westerners. And so a Hawaiian woman, I think a couple decades ago, it came to her how to make it accessible. She's no longer in embodiment, but someone else is carrying it on, Lynn and others. And I would have to say, it's just gone global. People, when they try it, it works. But I think I might edit it and say something like, if you perceive yourself in Lakesh, where, I am another you are another me, exponentially around the world, when somebody, say, does something hurtful to me that feels I'm caught off guard or whatever, it's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and then I would say, thank you, I love you. I don't think that's any formula, but I really like that. And it's something you can just say really quick.
I can't even say it properly, but I know what you're talking about, and it is quite long and convoluted. And I remember reading about that gentleman. Where can people find this post that you've talked about? Do you have your own website?
I don't have it on the Kona Occupy Disclosure website, but what I can do is I'll just send it to you guys, and you can put it wherever you want it.
Right, that would be
Hugh Lynn is still around, and people get certified in it. Not many, but it is happening around the world. So.
I have a question for you, Miss Snap, if I may.
Yes. Who will Bob?
I want to.
No, that's
actually Tom.
This is Tom Ass. Okay. And I'm going to say a word, and you speak Hawaiian, yes?
Oh, I just have a few words in here and there. I know I've been here before, but the language is very difficult to learn again. So, and I'm dyslexic, so hard to memorize.
I want to say a word. And if you can, I'm sure you have resources there in Hawaii of people who you can say this to. But I want to say this word and see if you can find out anything about it for me. And that word is Alye Lialohi. Does that sound Hawaiian to you?
Just spell it out to me if you understand it.
Well, like all A-L-L, all yay. Y-A-Y, all yay, Li Alohi. All yay, Li Alohi.
If he says that to someone, is it going to get a smack?
Alohi. Okay, I'll check it out. I've got some people I could probably decipher it.
Okay, that is the name of the place that is the name that the Cherokee people and Chickasaw and Choctaw people gave to a place in Georgia where the Georgia Guidestones are at. that was our sacred place. All Ye Li Elohi.
Ah. Well, what's really interesting, I've noticed living in the islands, how different factions of Native Americans will come over, and particularly, I believe it's the, which one? I forget what it is right now, but they are connecting, and they're comparing notes, and they're teaching, and they're holding like intercultural among the Native peoples classes, or workshops. And so everyone's, they're all kind of figuring it out while, everybody else isn't watching. It's because these are the keepers. They know. They know what's going on here.
Lots of similar stuff happening in here in Australia with the originals as well.
Well, yeah. In fact, one workshop that I did on Oahu, there was an Australian Aboriginal woman who was trained as a lawyer and, was just stunned. It was like her first time on travel, and to hear all the stories of what had happened to Hawaiians that were, similar to what had happened to Aboriginals. And, it just goes on and on and on. And so, what hit me, the big aha moment, was when I listened to, a few years ago, to, what's his name in England, the guy that's been screaming about what's going on for David Icke. Interviewed a South African shaman.
Freedom Mutwa.
Back thousands of years, and suddenly I went, because I couldn't figure out why the human and animal sacrifice. Why, for people that revere life and are the earth keepers, it didn't make any sense. The contradiction has been going on for eons. And suddenly it hit me, it's the Mo'o. It's the reptilian. It's the reptilian gender, Anunnaki, or whatever you want to call it. But, it's just suddenly another big piece of the puzzle fit. So if you're going to play the dark side, one of the things you got to do is you got to completely disenfranchise native peoples because they know.
Did you say Moho?
Mo'o. It's pronounced Mo'o. It's M-O apostrophe O. Mo'o.
That's very.
Go ahead.
That's very similar to what the New Zealanders call the Mohu monster.
And what did that
they speak
mean?
basically the same language. That's the being they've encountered in New Zealand.
The Maoris and the Hawaiians have the most in common. There's basically a triangle in the Pacific. It's between Hawaii, the Maoris, and the Tahitians, and all the islands in that triangle have the most in common. All the outer ones have lots in common too, but it's really interesting when the research was done that's what they found. And when you look at the different stories that are supposed to be just myths, like, around Pele and her favorite sister, Hi'aka, her coming-of-age story, my interpretation, of course, when you read the book, and it's on one page, it's all chants, okay, and then you reinterpret it into English. She had to go up to Kauai and fetch Loiao because Pele really, she really liked this young prince, and she wanted him for her own for a while. And she says to Hi'aka, "Well, you can have him after I'm done." Typical semi-goddess stuff. And so Hi'aka's still kind of young, and she starts journeying up the east side of this island, the Big Island, and she has to do battle with these Mo'o. Right? And Pele has to help her until she learns how to do it on her own. And she goes all the way up the island chain. And it's a wonderful story. Very, very sort of, when you start reading it, even, just the English translation, to me it's very lyrical and always acknowledging every physical aspect of everything that she sees, greeting it and everything. Well, anyway, she gets to Kauai and she finds out that Loiao is dead. And so his body's in this cave, and it's been there for about a week. Well, long story short, she brings it back to life and starts to bring Loiao back down the island chain to Pele. Now, if that isn't something more, kind of like a goddess example of what we're capable of, okay? I know, like, Prince came on the call. He really wants to help people, and then you brought up healing modalities and all of that. But this is what we're capable of. These are these goddesses reflecting back to us who we really are, so we don't forget. Some of us, anyway. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Ginger.
Well, you're welcome. Many blessings to all of you guys. And you're all welcome to come on over for a cup of Java, Java on the rocks, any old time.
Oh, can't wait.
Hey, be careful with putting that out there to somebody like me, Ginger. I just may hop on an airplane and take you up on it.
I mean what I say, Brian.
Hey, it's minus 8 degrees Celsius where I am right now, so if I could find any way of getting there, I would paddle a boat if I had to.
Oh, God, I lived in Seattle for 20 years, so my heart goes out to you.
Oh. Thanks for calling.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys, you got about 5 minutes, let you go. But many blessings and thanks for the time.
And thanks again for your wonderful note.
All right, aloha.
Bye, aloha.
Okay, well, we've a couple of minutes to do one more call. So 602 area code.
Hello.
Hello, 602.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
hello.
What? Yeah, we got you. What's your name?
See how many times we can say hello. Hello.
This is Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
I had a couple of things I was thinking of as I was listening to the call. One, back in the early 80s, a group of us were told that the humans were the keystone to the change. Yeah, that what happens here is the keystone to the rest of the universe.
And who told you that?
A channel.
Okay. Anybody that's publicly known, or?
No, absolutely not.
Oh. Okay.
And then one of the other things, I've noticed that that like everybody else, that it's been the visions have been increasing. Like a couple weeks ago, I came out of meditation and I came out of meditation with a picture of a translucent androgynous being with light centered at the heart, and they were kneeling and had a hand placed on the ground, and the ground was also translucent, and the words came that the ground was actually the earth in its light form.
Can you say that again?
Where do you want me to start?
Oh, just the last bit. The ground was what?
The ground was the earth, and it was Gaia in her light body.
Oh, okay.
And it was the person was just kneeling and just with love touching the surface.
Nice. Thanks, Robert.
Awesome. Very cool.
I love that people have. I mean, I don't know what your history is with having visions, but I love, like the other woman who shared earlier, that this is kind of new for her, and I'm hearing that's a familiar theme. That people are now starting to have these visions of truth, and experiences like that they've never had before. So I love it.
Yeah, I've had visions for over almost 30 years. And I felt lately that it's like I'm about ready to reach outside of a wall, reach beyond a wall. I keep feeling like I am bouncing. I'm pushing up against a wall and getting ready to push through it.
Awesome. I love it.
So,
Thank
hey,
you.
Lisa, because I know we're getting ready to lose a bunch of the callers, I want to make sure we point people to that Showing You the Money, How to Access Your Absolute Value posts on the blog. You want to tell people about that real quick?
Yeah, on Kabuki. Please go and check it out. It's a great article called "Showing You the Money: How to Access Your Absolute Value" on americankabuki.blogspot.com.au.
I will post it in the chat room as well.
Lovely, thank you.
Also, cease and desist orders on American Kabuki April 1st for Eurozone members.
And it's on RTS, removing the shackles. And the invoice is now up as a single document on optin.com. Okay, guys, lovely. Thank you. It's been a great 2 hours. Always a pleasure. So thanks to Brian, Chris, Bob, Dee, Thomas, all our callers. Thanks to Ginger, whose notes I will look forward to reading after the show. And thanks to everybody listening. And what an amazing chat room today. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.